Hey, it's the Abstractionist. I just did like 12 minutes of video and I just realized I was really incoherent. Let me get my book and then I'll come back. Hold on. This is going to be about spiritual cycles. I have a Patreon. I did a video on this. It's a lot more clear to me now what this stuff is. So I'm going to get the book that I need because I didn't think before I just clicked stop and start again. Let me go get the book and then I'll be back. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. So this is a Moleskine. So it's like my favorite brand of notebooks, I guess. It's two majors, Moleskine and then Leuchtturm 1917. So spiritual cycles. I've noticed that my calendar year, my spiritual year starts around Sagittarius season. I made a note on my Instagram as I was doing my like post for the week or day or however. I post infrequently and I just post what I want when I want, essentially. My new year kind of starts when the sun enters my North Node sign. My North Node is in Sag, and I notice that Sag starts my year. Gemini, well, really Gemini Cancer, because I'm a Cancer sun, is kind of when I start feeling that the year is shifting. So those are the two places, my nodes. And I think people might want to start looking at the ways, the cycles that they have and what their calendar year is for them, what their spiritual calendar year looks like for them. Because we talk about nature and that nature's calendar year begins with spring, right? It doesn't begin January because we're in the throes of winter. I'm in the northern hemisphere. It starts in spring, so it starts like Aries season, which is the beginning of the zodiac. And so you got all these different like timelines and time cycles. But for me, I've just kind of noticed that yes, nature does have a cycle and I can feel it. I can energetically feel it. Particularly when it gets around Aries season of wanting to do a lot of stuff because you're kind of physically put in a space, particularly in the region I live in, where you can't do too much. Like, you know, very few people are outside running when there's snow out. They're not really walking. They're not outside. When they go outside, they're driving to somewhere else, right? They're not like sitting in park benches and like chatting it up for like 5 hours. They're usually inside, and so you're not interacting with a lot of people. That being said, I still feel like my spiritual new year starts Sagittarius season. And so I'm working on developing a system that works for me that I can tap into every year until I feel like it changes and shifts. And so what I've noticed since 2016 is that around the end of the year, I'm changing jobs, I'm changing some sort of financial situation, I make new goals and things like that. And then halfway through the calendar year, around my birthday, I feel very listless. I feel very like, it's almost like I've entered a spiritual gate of newness. But it doesn't make itself more concrete until the end of the year. And so I've just kind of noticed all of that. And I kind of feel like I want to tap into that and truly reap the reward. So anyway, I decided to get a Moleskine because this is going to serve as my planner. Another thing is that I just never, like after I graduated like school, I never really fucked with like calendars like that. And I've been trying to figure out why. Like the way that the calendars are set up just doesn't work for me. And then I'm kind of annoyed by like these new kind of calendars. So I grew up with 12-month calendars, and I kind of just don't understand why we've shifted to 18-month calendars, because I don't know, like I just don't get that. Like I don't get the shift to 18-month calendars. It just doesn't. I'm like, why? Like yeah, like why? Like, and so I decided to get a Moleskine where this isn't a calendar, it's just a notebook with dots. It's the dotted notebook, as you can see. You can see those because they come in different varieties. So Moleskine has like actual planners, and then it has notebooks like this and different sizes with the dotted. Then they have the line, then they have the just plain. And so I didn't want the lines because I like this idea better. And maybe it's the engineering high school in me that likes this concept a lot better. I'm not a bullet journaler per se, but I can get with that concept. And so this essentially is going to be my bullet journal planner type until further notice. I liked bigger books. Smaller books I can't deal with. I feel like I don't have enough space, and I feel like I just like writing. I don't want to go in a digital space. I just kind of like paper. I know we're going to get to a place where like I may not have an option of paper, but like I just don't want to do that. Like I'm already online enough as it is, and I just don't see, unless I can put this format on there, then there's no point. Anyway, so I have different cycle phases essentially. So this is kind of what I was thinking about and came up with. So it's 4 different phases, and this is just for me knowing that my new year kind of starts in Sag season. So I have my building cycle, which is like the pre-building also. So I have October, November, December. Essentially in that phase of my life, I'm going to select the courses and the things that I want to learn. Of course, there are things that are going to come up in the next calendar year that I'm going to be like, ooh, I'm interested in, but I don't want to, like, I want to know that I'm building towards something and that I have some sort of plan. Another reason I'm doing this is that I'm in kind of the throes of my Saturn return. Saturn will be going into Pisces. My Saturn is in Pisces. It's less than a degree and it's actually retrograde. So I'm kind of just preparing for that right now. The more prepared you are for Saturn returns, the better. And I kind of feel like this has helped me prepare because I'm naturally getting more in tune with my own cycles. And that's something that Saturn really helps you with. I had some stuff that I felt like I wanted to say for my last video, but I can't remember it, and I don't feel like editing it to splice it in here either, so I just don't feel like it. So that's basically that. Another thing with this cycle building is like purging, cleansing, like physically cleansing, spiritually cleansing, and then purging all the stuff. Something about me that people don't know is that like every year I basically have a new wardrobe. Every year since like 2020-ish, I've had like a new wardrobe, or like I give away a lot of clothes to people that I know, or just donate them, or just donate books, or it's whatever. And it's just, I always feel like every year I'm somebody different. I'm always in a new job. I'm always like, I'm still here, like I live at home, but like I always feel like I don't want to say vastly different from last year, but I'm always doing something different. Like even if it's in the same career field, like I've been a pharmacy technician for 3 years, like, and every year I've had a different job. So like that may seem very unstable, but it's also like every year I'm forced to get out of my comfort zone and I'm learning different lessons and they're building upon each other. But like, yeah, like every year is like different, and it's been that way as far as like employment since 2016 with the exception of the gap that I had for like nearly 2 years of not being employed, which was kind of sad. It was that was my like dark night of the soul era. Because yeah, like employment is very big for me, and to not be employed for that amount of time. My South Node is also in Gemini, which is kind of like 9th, 10th house ish. So it kind of is like, yikes, right? Like that's kind of where my ego is a little bit, employment. So yeah, every year it's been something different, and I'm okay with that. And I go into every job knowing that in a year I may not be here. And here we go. One of the things with Saturn and Pisces is kind of learning when cycles are done, and learning when you should just like let it go, and just learning that you're going to get the lessons that you need to with that Saturn, but then be mutable like Pisces and learn the lesson, and vibrate higher each time, right? Get better each time, vibrate higher each time, meet new people each time, learn lessons each time, teach lessons each time, and then keep going forward, right? So that's how I like see it. So I'm not really sad when things are done. There's certain cycles in my life ancestrally that I'm also working through with Saturn that would put me in a better position when these things shift, like finances, like making sure I save money and not thinking that this is going to go on forever, because I keep getting taught that like each job is not lasting forever, and so like you need to really prepare. And that's been a really hard lesson for me because I'm not a saver in terms of like dollars. So essentially, yeah, those are my big lessons. And so in this building cycle, I'm just getting the momentum up also to like do things, right? So I'm building up momentum and building up steam to do things. And so during this time period, I get a little bit more aggressive, and I get more aggressive with the things I want to do, and I tend to consume content that puts me in line with that. And then I tend to detach from situations, and I start to pull my energy back. And something that I noted in my Scorpio moon video like 2 weeks ago is that when you start to pull your energy away from people, places, and things, those things tend to start acting up or starting to flare up to like get your attention again. And it's just like, please go the fuck away, like go away, like go away, you know what I'm saying? Like go away. Like I don't care if it's a person, I don't care. And I'm very blunt, and so I guess I can hurt people's feelings to like energetically pull away, and you feel that pull of energy, like just that void there now because I'm not there. And then also me telling you to like go away. Right, verbally and then non-verbally saying go away. So yeah, purging, cleansing, getting my mind right. So I tend to watch a little bit more motivational stuff, and then just cleansing. Like I need to actually clean this room, I need to clean the laundry, I need to clean the shelves, I need to dust, I need to get the energy out. Something from my family, which I actually learned was like Gullah Geechee from the internet. How real is that? Is that like, so New Year's, my family, I'm not gonna say it, never mind. It's a cleaning thing, and I realized that my family is more in, it's a spiritual gift, spiritual lineage type thing. Never mind, fuck it. On to the next thing. I know people are gonna be like, what? Click on Patreon, I'll do a video one day about it. Anyway, facilitating change, which is, yeah, facilitating change is January to June ish, somewhere around Gemini season, Cancer season. So basically, my calendar creation, my material selection, my course preparations, meetings, creations, this is that time. So basically all the courses I registered for, I start attending, I start signing up for, I start getting into, things like that. Anything I want to really purchase, anything that really catches my eye that I feel like it's going to help me integrate into this new way of being, this new identity, it helps. So that's wardrobe, that's music, that's just aestheticism, my Pinterest, stuff like that. Because I did a reading about this a while ago when I was doing planetary readings. It's the energetics of success, and it was a Scorpio Pluto reading. And basically I was saying that like materialism and material things that you use as you move up is very important. Like, you know, as you increase your vibration, you increase your status in whatever way that you want. Like, it's good to have things around you that resonate with you, right? Like, if you're making a certain amount of money that you can afford certain things, well, why dip down energetically, essentially, and buy things that are not vibrating that level, right? Like, there's a certain level of I can't afford it, or I don't deserve it, which is really the thing. You don't deserve it, but like, the things around you need to vibrate at a certain level, and that's why energetically clearing out things on a regular basis is very helpful, because there's certain things in your home that, even price point out of it, energetically just don't facilitate your space. And I think the more you clean on a regular basis, the more it becomes apparent which things need to leave, because they don't resonate with you anymore, they don't vibrate with you anymore, and they would be better in someone else's space if they can go to someone else's space, right? Like, some things just belong, unfortunately, in a landfill. Like, you can't really recycle them, you can't really repurpose them. It's kind of come to the end of the road for them altogether. So there's that. Course preparation, so just preparing myself for courses, back-to-back courses, integrating the material, applying the material, stuff like that, meeting new people, meeting new things, you know, doing new stuff, new shit, essentially. Like, new restaurants you want to try out, new materials you want to try out, new movies you want to see, things like that. Because you kind of know which movies are going to come out. They promote them like months ahead of time. You kind of know, you know what I'm saying? Anything that you need to like pre-sale, pre-buy, shit like that. And then creation, like actually creating art, actually creating things that you're gonna like do. And it doesn't mean that you're not doing any of this stuff throughout the rest of the year, but it just, I find that I'm more active at this time of year in terms of getting all that together. I'm a lot more focused on doing this, like the fun shit, before I get like the serious shit out the way, you know what I'm saying? I have a necropolis cycle, which is December, January, which kind of overlaps with these other two cycles that I mentioned. Essentially, I started to notice that at a certain time of year, like my Dia de los Muertos is not October. My year, as far as honoring ancestors, comes like dead winter. So just thinking about cycles, thinking about time and lineage and being alive, what it means to be alive, what it means to pass beyond the veil, communicating with ancestors, getting insights, just things like that, like being appreciative for life and what it means, you know? So there's that. And then the reaping cycle I have, which is like July to December. So essentially my birthday season, Cancer season, really kind of a little bit the start of Gemini, until December, which is kind of when I officially know that things are done. Like done, because December is usually I'm transitioning into something else. Whether it be mentally or like it's really in my reality that I'm like leaving this job, or I'm leaving school, or I'm doing something, you know. So I just evaluation of skills, courses earned, payments, like do I want to earn this amount of money next year, you know, where am I going with this? And then spiritual consultancy, like again, like it ties into more like ancestors, it ties more into spiritual messages that I'm getting for the year, spiritual messages that I'm getting for maybe years ahead, global events, like I said, my friends, I think in my other video I mentioned this, but my friends, I start getting messages for them, I start getting messages for myself. It's stuff that like I end up moving all these chess pieces without kind of knowing where I'm going to go, but intuitively, you know, I feel like I'm heading in this direction. I also started feeling like I'm about to quantum leap soon, and so I kind of notice when energetic portals start to open up to someone who isn't in this kind of stuff. You're like, this bitch is fucking crazy, like portals and all this shit. But as you get more attuned to your cycles, you start to notice when certain spiritual portals or quantum leap portals, like open up, and they're pockets that you need to go through to get to the next level. And it's certain situations, it's things that put you in the right place at the right time, that you like, once it clicks, you go and you move. And it's like this flash of moving beyond that veil to another level. And it's something that I've noticed more and more within myself. So I definitely feel like I'm quantum leaping this year. There's a small portal that I need to go through, and I'll mention that later when I go through it, because it's something that is very dear to me, and I'm going to do that later. So that's basically everything. It's a 20-minute video. Hopefully this holds you over for a sec. And yeah, that's basically it. Peace.